Should you invest in real estate, the stock market? Should you do forex trading? A lot of people want to know what the best investment is, and I usually say the best investment is investing in yourself, but today we're going to talk about why real estate is a good investment and why maybe you should consider investing into real estate. Well, first off, to start off, we're in a mansion right now, so it's just very fitting. I got on my red suit, so today we mean business. So let's talk about real estate. Why is real estate a good investment? Well, first of all, any asset that can put money into your pocket is a great investment. To start off, real estate is something that will always appreciate. If there's one thing about assets, you don't want an asset that can be recreated. For example, you can't make more land. Until Elon Musk is able to colonize Mars and have people living in Mars, there's not going to be more land made. And I mean, to me, that just sounds like a perfect idea to invest in real estate. Another thing to note is the real estate market doesn't fluctuate as much as the stock market. If you own stocks or you trade stocks, you know that literally news can cause a stock to lose its value by 25% or whatever that looks like. So again, real estate, that doesn't really happen. Yes, there are real estate market crashes and corrections and stuff like that, but the real estate cycle is not like the stock market cycle. It's very different and it does not fluctuate as much. It's more stable, if that makes sense. Again, real estate, there's so many different avenues to go through. For example, with the stock market, you can buy a stock, sell a stock, trade a stock. It's pretty much that. With real estate, you can actually get appreciation with your property as well as cash flow in your pocket every single month. So if you are renting out your property, you can rent it out and get some cash flow and have your tenants pay your mortgage so you don't have any ongoing fees, as well as you will be able to come out of it with a profit. There's so many different things to do with real estate. For example, you can do student rentals, you can do Airbnb rentals, which again is a very new strategy, which should be very interesting to see how that plays out. But again, there are just so many different strategies to go through. So yeah, as mentioned with real estate, there's a lot of ways to make money. Again, so many different types of rentals, as well as appreciation in a property. As well as with real estate, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Like for example, you can get a home equity line of credit, something you can't really do with the stock market. And with the stock market, it's not really accessible, if that makes sense. If you want to sell a stock, there may be some fees that come along with it. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into owning a stock and trading the stock market, or even forex. Again, that can be very hard. We're actually going to take a step outside right now, and I just want to quickly say, this is real estate. Like, this is beautiful right now. And this is usually not something that investors get into. If you're owning something like this, and that means it's maybe an Airbnb rental or something like that. But with real estate, you usually look for rundown houses, and you can do stuff like house flipping. And again, there's a lot of specifics that go into each of these tactics. For example, you can't just pick a house and say, oh, I'm going to flip it. It just doesn't work. There's so many different strategies, so many different techniques, depending on where you're living from too. Like for example, right now we're in the Durham region. Let's just say, for example, you want to invest in Oshawa. There's a lot of bylaws that you got to look out for and a lot of different specifics for each area. For example, buying a house in Windsor is not the same as buying a house in Toronto or buying a house in Pickering, whatever that looks like. There's just so many differences and so many stuff you have to factor in. But saying that, that's what makes real estate beautiful. You can literally be someone who monopolizes and owns a bunch of houses in one area, and you just be that guy, if that makes sense. So with investing in anything, there is a huge fear of a stock market crash or a real estate market crash. But here's something interesting that you probably didn't know of. When the real estate housing market crashes, investors are actually loving it because one, they get to buy properties in certain areas for an insanely cheap price, and two, people are renting more. So as house prices go down, rents just go up or they stay at the same price. So investors, they don't care if there's a house market crash or a correction or whatever that looks like. They're perfectly fine and they're loving it. And again, real estate is just beautiful because it's an asset that you can actually see physically. And I mean, personally, I think that's more important than having something paper like a stock or something like that. So what about things like cleaning washrooms and fixing faucets and all that type of stuff with real estate? Because obviously there's going to be leaky toilets and broken roofs and stuff like that. Well, again, the power of real estate is you can leverage almost everything, whether that's property management, whether that's finding properties with the proper realtor. The beauty of real estate is you can actually leverage other people such as contractors, electricians, plumbers, and network with other investors and figure out if your property is a good investment. And again, with real estate, there is stuff like REITs, which you can own paper real estate and stuff like that. And of course, the Grant Cardone Fund or whatever that's called. But again, you can actually own a property and you can actually see it. Like for example, I'm in a bathtub right now and you probably are wondering what I'm doing. And the thing is, I'm in a bathtub. It's real estate. This is what it is. This is a bathtub. Again, when you're a real estate investor, you're not building houses from the scratch. You're going and you're purchasing a house and you're getting someone to redo everything. Like for example, do you think the owner or the investor of the house put this jacuzzi in? No, probably not. This is actually a flip. And again, if you want to learn a bit about this house, check out my previous YouTube videos. There is a house tour up, and again, there will be a vlog coming out shortly about that. Another thing about real estate is you can actually leverage money. So as you may know, this property, for example, is up for 1.3 million. By the time you're watching this, it may even be sold. But let's just say, for example, a property is up for $1 million. You don't actually need $1 million in cash to purchase that property. The beauty about real estate is, and this may vary depending on where you live, obviously, but you can essentially get a property with 20% of the money up front. So, for example, if it's $1 million, you only need $200,000 up front, and after that, you can pay the rest off using a mortgage. So you take a loan from the bank, something that is not really possible when it comes to stuff like the stock market, or if you're investing in anything else. There isn't really that easy way to leverage your money. Again, with the stock market, you usually have to buy the stock all up front, or you only buy a percentage of that stock using a percentage of your money. You don't really get the whole real deal. As opposed to with real estate, you can actually own a property with only 20% of the money, or even 5% of the money if you're a first-time home buyer in Canada, maybe even Ontario. Again, double check, do a lot of research. Meetups, again, they're perfect. Go to networking events, just talk to a lot of people and kind of learn about real estate market in your area. Should you invest in there? Should you even bother investing in there? Should you just go somewhere else? Is there another town nearby that's doing a lot better? Personally, from the Toronto area myself, I moved out and I'm now in the Durham region, and I find that investing in the Durham region, especially Oshawa, is a bit more better and a bit more affordable for someone, because we all know the Toronto house price, they're just going up and they're not going to come down anytime soon. As opposed to the Oshawa market, it's definitely a lot more cheaper, a lot more affordable, and people can actually get into it a lot more easier, whether that's home ownership or an investment property. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram down below, you'll know that every 2 weeks I actually go to Oshawa with my coworker Cam Cassidy, and we do Oshawa property investment tours. We actually tour properties that are on the MLS that would make a good investment. And I mean, other than that, I think it's pretty clear that real estate is a great investment. Again, always invest in what you know, and again, the best investment is in yourself. Learn as much as you can before you put any money into it. Other than that, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like down below. Make sure to comment down below. Let me know, do you think real estate is a good investment? Is there anything else you prefer to invest in? Personally, I do a lot of Forex trading, but I do think that real estate is a better investment for the reasons mentioned before. Again, subscribe, leave a like, and again, make sure you follow me on Instagram. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.